What is going on with you guys? It is Coach Ike. It is great to see you guys, man. And we have another episode of Everything Uncovered. I am truly, truly excited for my guest. This is someone have a real relationship with, real close. Um, I believe it's going to be awesome, very comical. I can't wait for you guys to meet him. But until then, man, for some, all season is here. Congratulations for you guys who did their thing this year, who gathered some, who gained some attraction with recruiting this year. Big ups to you guys, and congratulations to those guys who also made it into the playoffs. Good luck to you guys as you continue to battle to make it to the championship game. I wish the best for you guys. Now, for those who have not made it yet and you are not too excited about your playing time or your performance on the field, DB wise, we are here off season. Understand, get rest. 2 to 3 weeks, we are full go. We are full go. Okay. Our DB training membership, which we'll be training 3 times a week. Um, that will be put out shortly, schedule wise. We also have virtual training, so it doesn't matter where you are across the world. If you're in a different state, different city, does not matter. You have access to it. We also do a lot of other things. Make sure that you guys DM and contact me on social media. All right. So I want to introduce my guest. We locked in. We locked in. My God, what's going on with you, man?
Man, I'm doing all right. Yourself, bro?
Doing outstanding, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Man, I appreciate you joining today, man. I already introduced you to our guest, man. And before we get into all the accolades of what you've done, man, I was telling them how we was former teammates and also how you're the only reason why I have we're not undefeated in JUCO because we have a 13-1 championship, and you guys was the only team to beat us. Um, but
Yeah,
before we get into that, man, how are you doing, bro? How are you doing?
I'm blessed, bro. You know what I'm saying? I seen you tapped on here with Gil Strap. I thought that was cool. You know what I'm saying? You talking to everybody. You starting your business, man. I got nothing but support and love for that. So, when you ask me, of course I'm gonna tap in, make some time for you.
Always, man, always, bro. Man, before I really get into the nitty gritty, we talked for a little bit, man. And you out there in the military, what made you join, bro? What has made you stay thus far? How long have you been there? And then what made you join?
All right. You remember when you had visited me at South Central, right?
Mhm.
Like shortly after that, they had like the coronavirus. They start shutting down the city. I'm like thinking in my head, this is crazy. Shortly after the coronavirus, they had the riots, and I had a girl at the time. She was living in Compton, so I started seeing tanks in Compton. I'm like, man, I'm on the wrong team. The world changing, right? I'm blessed because I played ball like most of my life to have a good background. So I'm like, man, let me go join up to see what happened with the world. So at least I'll be able to tell my family what's going on.
Mhm.
And so, you know what I mean? Plus, I also wanted to learn how to use different weapons and tactics. So I joined the infantry, you know what I mean? And, it's cool. It's cool.
And how long have you been in so far?
Oh, yeah. So uh, this is, I'm going on my fourth year right now.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
And I will say, I ain't going to bash the Army at all, not at all. But if you join the National Guard, be prepared to serve more than just 1 week in a month, 2 weeks out the year.
Yeah, because when we was younger, it was one of those things that you do. Either you start work and you go to school, you play some type of sport, or you go join.
Yeah.
Uh, So I just want to give context because that's why I love to have different people on because everybody's journey is different and people can relate. I know I play basketball with some young guys, and a lot of them are now enlisting. I'm like, hey man, good luck to you guys. I give y'all all the kudos in the world. You're a better man than me because I'm not doing it, and I'm not knocking anyone who does, but let people understand like, hey, this is the decision you can do, and it's not a bad one. So appreciate you sharing that with us, man. But man, I know the TL where he is now. Let's go back though, man. Let's share how was it when you was younger? What was your upbringing like? And how did that shape you into the person you are now?
Uh, when I grew up I started growing up in San Bernardino, California. My dad passed early, and when he passed, shortly after that, my mom got taken away from us too. So then I basically had some siblings, and we went to my grandmother's house, and my grandmother tried to take care of us. She's my great grandma, so we were moving all around Southern California, Los Angeles, Pomona. That's like another city in the Los Angeles County. Uh, we lived in Ontario, and when my mom got out, she came back. We moved back in San Bernardino. We lived in a homeless shelter. She moved us out of there, and we went to Riverside County. So I moved in. I lived in Moreno Valley. I lived in a small town called Lake Elsinore. That's where I played ball. It was just my mom taking care of us, so we moved a lot, like all the time. You know what I mean? But where I grew up, it was cool. It was what I'm saying, I can't complain. I would say we didn't really have money, pretty much just like everybody. Coming out of homeless shelter, living with my mom, living in like a project, house and apartment. You know what I'm saying, with my brother and my sister and my mom. Before that, we had lived in different hotels and all that. But at the end of the day, where I grew up, uh, a lot of people was going through the same thing. So as kids, we just know what we know, and we made the best out of it.
And how did you think that shaped you into the person you are now? Or even when you got to a certain age, you realize, like, man, I really been through a lot, but I can get through a lot as well because I've been through this stuff.
Yeah, so you know, when I look back on it right now, like going through that, I've been in a lot of places in my life now, blessed, humbly, you know what I'm saying? And I've been in a lot of rooms with a lot of different people from different cultures and different backgrounds, even overseas. And I've seen how different people was raised. And I'm able to say the things that I learned as my youth age is solid, where I could walk into different rooms with my head held high, and feel good about that. Other people cannot, and they had to learn the hard way. As where I learned the hard way at a young age. So, I feel blessed, and I'm thankful.
I hear that, I hear that. So, we all play sports, as kids. When did sports really become a factor for you? Was it in high school? Was it, while you was younger? When did not necessarily just sports, but football in general?
All right, so what I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like from a young age, like I'm gonna say like junior high school, you know what I mean? First I was getting in a lot of trouble, you know what I'm saying? Because I was moving so much.
Mhm.
So we grew up in Southern California, that gangs is like a big thing. So when you move so much, I'm moving to LA, I'm moving to Ontario, I'm moving to San Bernardino, I'm moving to Lake Elsinore, I'm moving to Moreno Valley, getting kicked out of school. You know, it's crazy, but I started playing ball, and that was my avenue. Like I had a homeboy that was playing ball, and my mom couldn't afford me to play like Pop Warner, Bureau American, but I had a homeboy that took me to his practice, and I got sponsored. When I got sponsored, The coach asked me, could I play? And I told him, yeah, I could play. He asked me how good I was. I told him I was better than my homeboy. My homeboy was like the star on the team, but I'm forever grateful. His name is Brian Terrell. Uh, and I started playing. I probably played like 2 years in junior high school. And then once high school started, obviously I started, I was known from my junior high school. So it was cool.
Got you, got you. So during this process, now you're in high school. Of course, you keep moving back and forth. How was high school for you? Your experience? And I'm when I say your experience, I'm talking about on and off the field because as athletes, every we put so much energy on the field. But we have life outside of the football field. I know for me, I hated school. I could not stand school, but at the same time, I understood where I wanted to go. So I handled my business and took care of the school, and I made sure I didn't get in trouble because I knew my motivation. And the reason why I asked this because children today, I've been coaching, I train, they're a little different. As far as all of my boys who coach, they like, man, these kids, they don't love it like we do. I said, yeah, because there's other avenues now. They don't have to love it. You just got to figure out what is their motivation. I mean, honestly, if you telling me that at the end of the day, there was no hope for me to possibly go to college NFL, I wouldn't love football either. It would be just something to do for the meantime, but I ain't gonna put my all into it. So, what was your motivation, or what was your experience on and off the field during high school?
All right. So motivation. I'll be for real with you. It's wild because like a lot of people grow up with fathers, brothers, or something like that to tell you how far football could take you. You know what I mean? I just thought like, man, I want to play in the NFL. Literally, I didn't know. I couldn't tell you the difference between USC and RCC when I was in high school. I didn't know no different whatsoever. I didn't know about Division 1 to Division 3 to NAIA. I had no idea about none of that. I just wanted to play football. I know, like, playing football. We played in some big games. We had I was going to the championship. We played against Toby Gerhardt. You know what I'm saying? Playing against some good players, and like I knew that I needed to keep a 2.0. You know what I mean? I kept it real simple. Keep a 2.0. Uh, don't be fighting. Try to stay from getting suspended. You know what I'm saying? But what I did was uh, because on the outside of school, it wasn't pretty, it wasn't nice. It was just like probably a lot of people growing up in a rough place. You know what I'm saying? Even at my school, we had race riots, we had police coming to our school. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Shooting people with pepper, balls, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I was young, and I don't have the head that I have right now. I'm thinking that that's fun. Uh, but all I knew is, hey, I want to play ball, and I need to keep this 2.0, and I know I can't get suspended. So I did wrestling, football, and track. And I really didn't want to be home, to be honest. So I I used all my time to get in sports, and I want to be a three letterman type of athlete. You know what I'm saying? So I focused all my time in playing sports because at home we didn't really have nothing at home. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, devil time is idol's workshop, and I knew that. I had homeboys getting shot outside of school. You know what I'm saying? I had a homeboy that caught life in prison. It's I mean, I just focused all my time on playing sports. I didn't know how I was going to get to the league, but I'm like, man, I'm going to play ball, and I just kept my 2.0, and I was getting letters from colleges, and I wouldn't even know. You know what I mean? I remember I was getting these letters from Washington, and I'm thinking like, man, I ain't finna go to this school. It's purple. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, that's how crazy. My mind is different nowadays. Like there's more, you got to be accepting to all this. But at the time, my head was like thinking narrowly, like, oh, this man, I'm never going to that school just because of color, not knowing there's this is a Pac-10 school. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know what that was at the time. how big the stadium was. I didn't even know that some college stadiums are bigger than NFL stadiums. This is something I did not know at all. But I just played ball, and I like to be in the newspaper. I like to play ball. I like it to everything about being a football player. So that's what it just kept inspiring me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I want to go back to something you said because I think it's very profound. I think even for myself and for kids that play now, you said you didn't want to go home. And thing with me, essentially, I have brothers and sisters, but my brother and sister, my brother's the closest. He's 10 years older than me. So when I'm in high school, everybody else is gone, is grown though. So when I come home, for the most part, I'm by myself. My parents are still at work. So it's like I don't want to go home. And I made a choice after my freshman year. I wasn't playing basketball. So normally I would be at school all day in sports. So I know that feeling of not wanting to go home. But as some kids, like you said, you don't want to go home either because of what's going to happen as well. Rather your other friends getting in trouble or this it's just idle time and you got to fill that up. And it's very tough. And I know, and a lot of kids don't talk about it, but things are not right sometimes at home. And it's something you don't want to share and you can't really explain as a young man. But I think that that resounds with everybody with what you said. And I wanted to bring that back up. So you said in high school, you playing basketball, running track, and playing football. How was the recruiting process for you during this time? Like, were you starting to gain interest? Because of course we getting all these letters, like you said, you playing in championship games. How was it for you? And did you feel like, man, this is my opportunity to get out?
All right, so I'm curious. So I gotta say, I did wrestling, football, and track. So I didn't do
That's
basketball.
my fault, yeah, wrestling.
It was cool. But to be honest, like I didn't even feel like there was a way out. To be honest, I was just blessed into this role, right? So even when these schools would come to me and talk to me like, "Oh, you got to keep your grades up," like me, I don't know, like I felt like I wasn't really good at English. I wasn't good at math. You know what I'm saying? So I really just kept that 2.0, and I didn't take, they got an NCAA clearinghouse. I'm not sure if they still have it now, right? But you got to take a certain amount of classes to be able to matriculate into certain colleges, right? You got to have a good SAT score and all that. Me, I didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? To be honest with you, I didn't take all those algebra class. I didn't take all the calculus. I didn't do all that. So at the end of the day, when they were coming to me, I kind of knew at the same time, like, you know, hey, I don't have the grades because I didn't go through the clearinghouse. You get what I'm saying? But at the same time, they would keep coming to me, especially at the end of your seasons, right? And you're playing these games and you're getting these letters and you're talking to these coaches and they coming to see you, but they know that your grades ain't good enough to go. You know what I mean? Uh, I remember my coach saying to me like, I got a letter from RCC, and the coaches called me from RCC, and my coach said, "You should never even go to that school. You should be at USC." But I didn't even know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't tell me the difference. He didn't give me that information, which I think is kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at least you should show your athletes like what they can do and what they need to do. You know what I mean? All that stress was at 2.0 so they could get us on the field. And if you don't have a father figure or a brother or anything like that to know, I mean, how would you supposed to know? Like I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, for me, I didn't feel like there was a way out. I just got blessed because I had a homeboy that when I was on varsity as a sophomore, and he had went to Temple, and he came back from Temple, and he went back to Juke. He went to JUCO, so he went to Temple and then went to JUCO, and he told me like, "Hey man, don't go to RCC. Come to Saddleback. It's like number two in the country, number two, something like that. It was like I think it was like number two at the time. It was
Mhm.
like it was they were up there in the country." And he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna give you a ride every single day." I didn't have no car at the time, so he gave me a ride to school every single day from Riverside all the way to Orange County every single day. And obviously, when you in JUCO, the bounce backs are somebody. You get what I'm saying? They get like priority because they get exposure to the school. And his name is Mo Clark, and he started teaching me everything to make to whereas I learned his information that he gave on me. I soaked it up and I ran with it. I had better grades in junior college than I did in high school.
No, for sure. I want to go back on something because a lot of kids don't understand. You brought up clearinghouse and SATs, which they don't have to do necessarily now, which is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. They no longer have to take the SAT, and I believe like clearinghouse is called something else now. But you young guys, this really was stopping a lot of talented guys from going. Like, it's a lot of dudes from just my area alone who didn't go to college just because they grades and SATs. So when you hear these things, like, you guys are very fortunate. Like, you guys don't have to worry about the SAT. You guys don't have to worry about clearinghouse. I don't know what it's called now. It's called something else, but it's not as extremely difficult as it is now. So y'all need to understand how grateful the opportunity to get to college. It's so much easier now. It's so much easier.
It was like them coming to me, talking to me, it was like kind of pointless because I knew I couldn't pass them classes.
Yeah,
And I was behind in classes and I had to do all these classes just to go. So, then they start realizing when they start coming and they start coming. So they're coming like pretty heavy, and I really didn't know who was who, you know what I mean? UTEP was coming, Washington came, UCLA came, but like those are the three that I remember like heavily. But there was more college that were coming, but once they realized like, oh, his grades are, he don't have the matriculation to get him into our schools, it pretty much faded.
got you. And
But
what high school did you go to again?
Temescal Canyon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
At the time, it was good. Like my sophomore year, I think we were like 10-0. My junior year, we went to the semifinals, and then my senior year, we went to the finals.
No.
Final. Yeah.
So your boy put you on JUCO. Prior to him
Yeah.
putting you on JUCO, because like you said, you didn't know the difference between RCC and USC.
Yeah.
So
No.
he put you on. I know your boy. He took you down to Saddleback, and he said y'all the number two, another number two. Of course, we know who was number one. The school I attended, that's why they was number two. Um, so you get down to Saddleback. You understand he putting you on game. He's putting you on. But prior to this, though, prior to this, did you have any idea that it was a junior college and not like a university, like how SC was?
No.
Okay.
Didn't know the difference at all. Like, I didn't know the difference whatsoever. You get what I'm saying? That's why I said I didn't know the difference between RCC. Definitely didn't know the difference between Mount Sac and Saddleback. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know none of the difference. I just knew my homies like, oh, this number two country school in the country, come play. I'm like, all right. He's like, don't go to RCC because RCC was right there. So he's like, man, come over here. So at the time, I mean, RCC might have got better now, but at the time, they weren't up there like that. Like we were our schools, right? Uh, I didn't even know, like when he went to Temple, I didn't really know that that was a D1. You get what I'm saying? I didn't learn D1 or D2, NAIA, D3 until I went to Saddleback, and that's where I got my learning curve from.
So what was your experience there at Saddleback? On and off the field.
All right, okay, so uh, I got a lot of education there. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot. It's way different than everywhere I've been. So uh, South Orange County is like uh, one of the most expensive places to live. I'll say in Southern California. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of Caucasians there. It's much different than where I was from. So it's everybody has a lot of money. People talk much different. You know what I'm saying? So I had to learn politics. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know the word politic was. You get what I'm saying? I was there for 3 years, and off 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 campus. Like as you know, junior college you don't get paid, so you're not you got FAFSA, which is cool because that's like more money than I probably had in a long time. So I was getting financial aid. So I was getting financial aid, and then I had the Pell Grant. I had I forget what you call it, but where I got my books paid and my schooling paid for.
Ah,
So
boy.
my school, yeah, the ballware. So I had that. So my school was paid for, and I was thankful for that. And then, like I told you, I got rides from my homeboy uh, every day for my first year, and that's where I learned Division 1, Division 2, Division 3. At the time, we had NCAA, the video game. So now we're playing video games, and then now my homeboys are playing college video game. And now I'm starting to see like, oh, there's a lot of people in the stands. I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. I really didn't know. Now I'm watching college football more, and now I'm like, okay, now my next dream is to get to D1, right? But that was never a dream that I had. I never even knew about it. You get what I'm saying? I just knew I wanted to play. And so uh, at that time, I outside of school, outside of school, it was like to be honest with you, it was like a D1 to be honest, like because uh, there's a lot of money at my school, a lot of wealth, a lot of parties. You know what I'm saying? We had like and the campus was pretty big to be honest. But obviously you're not gonna get that same D1 exposure. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get that same D1 crowd. You're not gonna be flying everywhere. But as far as like, I'm from Southern California, so as far as like the lifestyle, like you go to the beach, you go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? The weather is great. It's nice. Um, I learned how to be honest with you. I just keep it real with y'all. And I'll tell anybody, you know what I'm saying, because I got the game. Like, once you start playing football, and you could get a lot of you could have a lot of distractions. And my homeboy taught me like, all right, all these girls that want to be around you and they know that you possibly have a shot to go somewhere, tell them same girls to help you with your schoolwork. You know what I'm saying? And so that's how I made college much easier. You know what I'm saying? Tell them people to help you. You know what I mean? Don't get distracted. Let them know, hey, I gotta do this homework first. I gotta do this first. Tell me what this means. You know what I'm saying? And I increased my vocabulary, able to speak to people more. Especially from where I came from. You know what I mean? And I had sat there and I look back, and there's a lot of people that go to junior colleges. Obviously, you're going to the number 2 junior college. People from different states coming to your college, right? We meet a lot of different people, and then you see politics. You start seeing, oh man, my homeboy's a good player, but he don't get along with the coach. So guess what? The coach ain't gonna play him. You know what I'm saying? And I started seeing that because obviously from high school, the best player gonna play. You know what I'm saying? Whether coach like you or not, he gonna let you play. But now you got so much talent, and these top JUCOs that you know they also getting money from boosters. You know what I'm saying? And I started seeing that. Then I had to start playing politics, and then took me to my now I'm getting scholarship offers from everywhere. You get what I'm saying? And then at the same time, like I still never took them classes. So, I'm getting ready to sign with a school, but then I find out that I didn't matriculate. I remember when Middle Tennessee first called me. I still didn't know who Middle Tennessee was. I'm like, I don't know who Middle Tennessee. I don't know. I'm like, all right, thank you. But I'm over here finna sign with a whole other team, right? That's what I'm thinking. But then they come back and they're like, oh, we're a prestigious school. It was what's the name of that school? It was Tulsa. It was Tulsa. So I'm like, man, I'm finna sign with Tulsa, right? And obviously I was talking to more schools in Tulsa, but I liked it what Tulsa was trying to offer me. You get what I'm saying? Uh, and Man, that process was cool. Getting to fly out uh, to different teams. They fly you out. That's my first time on a plane, flying out. They fly me out. I'm like, oh man, this is cool. And you get to go be there for 2, 3 days and see what the school is like, and then you pick the school you want to go to. I ended up picking Middle Tennessee because I got stuck there for probably like a week and a half because of some rain or something. I'm like, all right, you know what? They got Nike, they got a stadium. hey, D1, I'm signing. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you got into my next question, but I wanna go back because two questions I want to ask you because a lot of people don't understand. I'm like, isn't a JUCO only there for 2 years? Because you said you was three, and people don't understand how that works. So why explain to people why you there 3 years at the JUCO?
All right, so the first year, um, I'm still learning, uh, school, uh, I'm not doing really good with my grades. So uh, I realized like I got enough. I had some fun, and then I had to realize that hey, if I play my second year, I still didn't get enough classes to transfer to Division 1. And so when I realized that, what I did was I redshirted my second year, which is like sitting out. Like you could sit out, but I could have just, gray shirted. I think it's called gray
Yep.
shirted the first year and didn't play. But I played the first year and then I redshirted the second year because if I didn't redshirt, I don't know who was going to keep my scholarship. So I decided to say, hey, my second year, I'm going to focus on my classwork. So make sure that my grades can matriculate to a Division 1 level school. And so I took that second year off, you know, whether I was going to be the starter or whatever, it didn't really matter to me. You know what I'm saying? And obviously the coach is like, we want you to play, we want you to play, but I had to really look back and do the best interest of myself, because of the mistakes that I made. And I set out my second year and I decided to play my third. And when I played my third, it was the best decision I ever did because scholarships started coming in after I started getting picks. And you know how it is. It's probably like the same thing in high school, but now I have more knowledge and I know what a BYU is. I know what a Utah is. Now I'm learning because all that time, throughout my life, I never knew what it was. But in these 3 years, I had to learn politics real fast. I had to learn what Division 1 was. I had to learn schemes. In high school, it's just like, all right, they got a best player. Hey, TL, you guard him. So I'm guarding him. Okay, what's cover two? I knew cover two and man coverage. That's pretty much all I knew. You know what I'm saying? But and in college they teach you more, and I had to learn.
Yeah, so I wanted to go over that because not everyone is going to have the opportunity to go to a D1, D2, D3, NIIA right out of high school. So people need to understand what is the difference of gray shirting and red shirting. So for those, like he broke down, basically when he red shirted, he was able to still take 12 units or more, but don't play football. So he started his clock on the football field and then he stopped it essentially on the football field. But he continued his classes. When you gray shirt, you have to be under 12 units, so you never start your clock on the field. So when you gray shirt, you have to be under 12 units. So you be like 9, I think is the most you can be, but your clock doesn't start, so you can't touch the field or anything like that. So that's how somebody can be in JUCO for 3-4 years, because it depends on if you gray shirt, if you red shirt. Now for, like he said, TL, he decided to red shirt. That was the best thing for him to do. Some people, like he said, it would have been better to gray shirt that first year and take those units or catch up, but his clock wouldn't have started. So technically his second year, he was a sophomore, just like when I was a sophomore when we played against each other. So it all depends on what the situation is, but I want to make sure that you guys understand that. And schools do not tell you, this be the best thing. Make sure you guys are educated and understand to do the best thing for yourself. Before we move on, I want to ask, what was that second year like? Because you guys beat us. What was that second year for you on the field wise? Of course, obviously you must be balling out because recruiting is pick up for you. So how was it all able to turn over for you that second year when you did play?
Okay, so I want to say something too. Like as I said, how I did my steps. I would say just like Arnez just said, because sometimes I forget. I'm feeling like I'm just talking to Arnez and not talking to everybody. But so if I'm talking to everybody, if I'm talking to somebody that's young, that's gonna go to a junior college, and that happens, right? I would say for you, if you're not exactly ready, I would say for you, unless you're trying to get there and go, I would say that it's better to gray shirt and practice with the team, learn the plays, get yourself developed, and then start to play, right? Because now the plays of that college, the plays of the school, your coaches, everything, and you do not start your clock at all. Because once you start your clock, that clock keeps rolling. So your question to me was, what was my second year like?
Yeah, on the field.
Now on the field. So my second year on the field, obviously I feel almost like I'm gonna put it in my kind of terms. I feel like, obviously I'm a sophomore, but I feel like a senior. I've been there 3 years. I know the program. I know the ups and downs. I know the college. I know what classes. I know how everything is going. I'm learning way more about different schools. So I felt good. I got blessed. And when I got in the game, you know what I'm saying? I was getting picks. You get what I'm saying? Like I said, hey, like he told you in the beginning, if you look at my film, I got 2 picks off of Arnez team. That was like the best team in the country, right at the time, right? I dropped one too, but it don't matter. It's it is what it is. But that'd have been 3. But whatever, I was just thankful. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you got these schools coming, and it's like an unbelievable feeling, right? It's like you know, especially from where I came from, I felt like it was not going to happen. Even though you see people going to these schools. I have never went to a Division 1. Now I'm talking to these schools, and for myself, I had at the time I had did my own recruiting too as well. So I got my highlight tape. I made it together. I think one of my coaches helped me a little bit, and I put it together. And so what I did was I started going to every college, every Division 1 team, and I looked at their email. I looked at their defensive back coaches and their graduate assistants, and I started sending them emails and sending them myself on YouTube. So I sent my highlight on YouTube, and then I sent a hard copy to them. And not every single D1, because I didn't send it to Middle Tennessee. I have no idea how they heard of me. But uh, you know, I would say that it was great. It was fun. Like I said, like the atmosphere of Southern California was was uh was like a blessing. So, I was thankful. And then obviously you see coaches coming in, you see more coaches coming in, and you got your friends around you talking to you, telling you what colleges are what. So I'm looking up these teams. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking up these teams. I'm watching them I put them on the game. Like I said, I did a lot from NCAA. I went to the game. I started seeing their stuff and I started looking it up. Because I was kind of behind on it. But I thought it was cool.
Yeah, yeah. So let's fast forward now because you already talked about you up at Middle Tennessee, and I've shared my initial thought when I first got to Middle Tennessee. I got up there in the spring. So you guys, did you come in the spring as well? No.
No, I can't remember.
So I was like one of the first people because I was a qualifier at high school.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I came up there early. Everybody else from JUCO essentially came late. So what was your initial thought when you first stepped on the campus at Middle Tennessee?
All right, so I'm gonna be for real, right? So,
Please.
all right, so look, so all right, hey, coaches are smart, you know what I'm saying? So, I had JK as my what you call that? What do you call that when
Yeah,
it
your
comes to
host.
my host, right? So now, Jeremy Kellum, Jeremy Kellum is like he like a preacher. You feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything out of his mouth, the next word is Lord willing, God willing. I'm like, man, I'm thinking like, damn, everybody like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this what this is like. And then like somehow they had like some big old thing at the school. And I'm like, oh damn, this is cool. Then went to the stadium, took me to the stadium. Then it was storming, it was raining. Then now we got Mayweather fight. I'm trying to watch the fight. Coach let me watch the fight, pay for it. I'm like, all right, this is gonna be cool. And then once I get there, totally different. You know what I'm saying? I asked Coach Star, I'm like, Coach, I asked him like, hey, can I get number one? He like, yeah, you can have number one. And I get there and they gave me 41. I'm hot. I'm hot. I'm trying to leave right away. I'm like, man, they trying to play me. And then coach like fixed it out, fixed it for me, gave me another number, gave me numbers to pick and all that. But when I first got there, it's totally different, right? Cause I didn't really know nobody. I think this is my first time like living out of state, right? And not only that, while you in Southern California, it's green, it's nice. And I'm not saying that Tennessee is not green or nice, but the weather is totally different. Over there it snows. You know what I'm saying? We practicing in the cold, and over there it's a different atmosphere. Like in California, I would say it's well rounded with different type of ethnicities. But
Mhm.
in Tennessee, there's only two, to be honest, for the majority, right? So this is something different that I'm seeing. Obviously, like I said, I didn't know anything about college, right? I'm seeing AKAs, that's a sorority. I'm seeing what do you call it? Q dogs. That's a fraternity. And I'm trying to figure out like why they dressing like this. Q dogs wearing red. I mean wearing purple and gold, looking crazy. I'm like, man, what is going on? What I mean? I'm thinking like, man, it's like stump the yard right here. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I could think of. But at the same time, I had seen like you was already there and you was from California. You was already there. And then you had got a starting job already, right? And you only had been there for a certain amount of time. Well, I'm like, okay, this is cool. If he could do it, I'm gonna do it too, right? But obviously, you did your thing, and it was cool.
So, because it's funny to hear. I asked JK, who you was just talking about was your host. I asked Rod was the other corner. I asked them their initial, and it's always funny to hear everybody's reaction because it's always different. Everybody's different, and it's just funny to hear it because I try to help these kids understand. Like, look, man, I understand you going to this college, but like you said, you got to look at the surrounding. Like me and JK, we figured out like just because you going to a school because they sponsored by Nike and you gonna be on college game, that's not a good reason to go to a school. Like,
That ain't you. I wasn't even thinking like I wasn't even thinking like, man, this surrounding is totally different. Like this is totally crazy. Like this is wild. This is Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? And then all your teammates is all, from the country for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Like different parts of the country. So when I talk about country, I'm not bashing anybody
yeah,
from any,
yeah.
but you got people from uh, Florida, you got people from Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of teammates from the South. Pretty much, I'll say like 70% or higher is from the South. You know what I'm saying? Well, I thought that was cool experience when you get to know the people. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, at first I was like, man, I want to go home. I'm not trying to be over here. But you know what I'm saying? I'm like, this is totally different. You know what I mean? I didn't even think about how the atmosphere was going to be changed dramatically. Just how different people talk, and you got to get used to how people say things. You know what I'm saying? Because they say it, but they don't mean it with disrespect. It's just how they grew up. And I thought that was a cool thing to get to see that culture.
So, what did you learn about yourself being away? Because you mentioned, we're out of California now, but what did you learn about yourself now that you wasn't in an environment that you grew up in? How did you see how you are? Because I talk about this, I think self-awareness is the most important thing for humans to understand who they are. And of course, you don't have a sense of who you are until you're out of that environment that you grew up in. And now you can really like, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is who I want to be. What did you learn about yourself during this college process?
What I learned about myself, it always goes back to that politicking, right? So uh, obviously I took the politics that I learned from JUCO and didn't play the same way that I did because I made a lot of mistakes in JUCO. Like, I used to be like turned up on a coach. like cussing at the coach if I make a pick and he trying to tell me I step wrong. I'm like, you don't make no sense. No matter where I step, at the end of the day, it's my job to get the ball, right? And so, I took that and I shut up, right? So I shut up in Division 1, right? 'Cause I'm like, you know what? It's easier to just shut up and you get more accolades with this politics. But then at the same time, shutting up too much and letting stuff go too much, I had to learn that balance to not get disrespected or let people disrespect you, but at the same time, don't go overboard because right now it's a business, and
Yeah.
so I had to learn that business. At the same time, I had to be comfortable with myself. You get what I'm saying? So be comfortable with myself, like that Nipsey quote, right? I'd rather be at, at war with the world and comfortable with myself, or at peace with myself, than at my bad. I'm getting a lot of text. Forgive me. But anyways, you understand what I'm saying, right? I'd rather just be at peace with myself you know, than at war with myself. You get what I'm saying? So I had to learn that balance. You get what I'm saying? And when I did learn that balance, it ultimately made me a better person, coming out of there. Because later on in life, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was in the LAPD, I'm in the Army infantry, and I learned how to get along with different people from different places, you know what I'm saying? And with that JUCO stuff, you're gonna see a lot of people from different places too. And so I thought that it was cool.
Got you, got you. What was your experience? Because I really don't. I talked to a couple of dudes, and our 2 years when we was there, um, mind you, at Middle Tennessee, they came off their best record ever. So mind you, this is why we also went to Middle Tennessee. They went 10-3. This is the best record they ever had in the program. As soon
Yeah.
as we get there, we go to a bowl game. It's just not the same. And unfortunately, Coach Franklin and Coach Manny Diaz, who was the defense coordinator, offense coordinator,
Yeah.
both left to go for better jobs, which I understood. Coach Franklin is the one who who recruited me. I know he did the JUCOs. I don't know if he recruited you, but Coach Franklin, I was kind of saddened when he left because regardless what anybody say about him, that's the realest dude. He kept it real. He kept it transparent with me, so I could only respect him, regardless if I wanted to hear it or not. But our 2 years, it didn't turn out how I wanted to, especially our senior year. I think also at the same time, our senior year, we had like one of the worst records in school history. I'm not so sure on that, but we only won 2 games. It wasn't good. So what was your experience now going from winning at Saddleback, being the player who you was, making plays? How was it now here at college at Middle Tennessee for you?
All right, so I'm gonna keep it. You know what? I'm gonna just keep it real. You get what I'm saying? We're trying not to bash too many people, right? It's like, one thing I would say is our coach, Coach Stock. He's still there right now. He was a good guy, and he tried to give people opportunities, right? Uh, at the time, we had Coach, uh, our defensive coordinator, Steve. What's his name?
Coach
Coach
Ellis?
Coach Ellis, Steve Ellis, right? Uh, uh, our senior year, he gave him the coaching job to be the defensive coordinator, but it wasn't his plays that he was going off of. He was going off of a coach that had been gone for 2 years, so he really didn't really know how to run his defense, right? And our first year that we were there, our seniors knew how to run that defense because they've been with that coach for so long, right? So if the coach Ellis really didn't know what was going on, the seniors would be like, "Hey, we know what we're doing. 'Cause we've been doing this for however many years they've been there, right?" So they were able to keep up and maintain and play their defense, whether the coach is calling the wrong plays or not. You get what I'm saying? But then now, our senior year, right? Pretty much them coaches have been gone three years now, right? 2, 3 years now, and them seniors are gone. So now we got new coaches. I mean, coaches that our senior our head coach is trying to give an opportunity to, which is great and cool. But at the same time, it's putting us in a losing position, right? And so I had never been a part of a team with a losing record in my whole entire life. right? And these policies, it's going crazy, like, you know. And so when you're losing, that don't feel good, you know what I'm saying? Like, period at all. You know what I'm saying? So to be honest, you know, I'm thankful for the opportunity, but losing and then you know, we're trying to get to the NFL, you know what I'm saying? To be honest, let's just keep it real. We're trying to get to the NFL, but I don't know if we got put in the best position to do that, right? But everything happens and you can't you know, feel bad about it or nothing like that. You just gotta learn from it, you know what I'm saying? So how I took it is, you know, pay attention, like, you know, uh, to certain things, right? So when I got recruited, they kept telling me, "Oh, we got new coaches, we got new offensive coordinator, we got new defensive coordinator," and you know me, like I said, I didn't really know too much about that. You know, I'm thinking, "Oh, this is a good thing," but no, really, in actuality, it's not a good thing. If the winning coaches left, you got to think about if these winning coaches left, who is going to be leading the school, you know. And so, guess what? For me, that was a learning curve. So, for my son, when he grows up, I'm gonna make sure that them coaches are gonna stay and gonna be there. But at the same time, right now, I believe they got like the transfer portal where they could just leave too. I don't know exactly how it works, you know what I mean? But it's a little better for kids now.
I know for sure. And I remember I'm gonna say I remember when you first got up there, you was like, man, I'm out of here. And honestly, I had that feeling too, but it wasn't because it had nothing to do with football. Like you said, it was just like I just didn't like it out there at that point because, like I said, I was up there before everybody else, but stuck it through. But at this time, the transfer porters, we were allowed to transfer only if the coach who recruited us left. So that was only how we could transfer out to another school, which it wasn't very unlikely though at that time because you know, all the coaches that picked you, you like, why would I leave or why would I follow? And you couldn't even go to the school they went to. Because if you did go to the school they went to, you wasn't gonna be able to play. So it was just a different time. So man, you guys got a great opportunity now where you guys can go and go play where a situation actually fits you. I wanted to ask you because um what was your mindset? North Texas, that was our last game. We got blown out the water. They had a career game against us. What was your thought process, or what was the first thing that went through your mind when that final whistle was blown, though, and you realized like our senior year, your senior year of football collegiately was done? What was going through your mind?
I remember what's going through my mind right now. I'm like, man, I think it was like a little cold, a little rainy or whatever. And I'm like, man, this experience was probably not the best experience that I had. You know, I'm saying it wasn't a good experience, but I know I ain't done. There ain't no way that I'm done with this. It's like, so I knew it in my heart that I wasn't done balling. I knew it. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, I'm done with this. I learned this. I'm trying to get up out of here.
So now we getting ready for the pro day and everything. Explain what you learned because I learned a lot during this process for pro day. I didn't have an agent. The training regimen and everything like that. There's miscommunication on who we were supposed to be training with, and I don't want to personally go into it, but share what
Okay.
yeah, you can go over it, but share your experience of what you learned during that process of training for your pro day and getting ready for that audition, basically for
Well,
the NFL.
let's just keep it real. Our trainers did not train us for pro day. They just didn't. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they were upset because our record or whatever. But still, if you have if you have these kids coming, you know what I'm saying, this is their dream, and this is their dream uh, to play, right? Then you know, you want to train them, right? They didn't train none of us seniors. Let's just keep it real. Like, they were mad at us, upset at us, right? Uh, and I wouldn't say that it was all on us, but I had learned that, hey, coaching really does impact a game, or, you know what I'm saying, an outcome. And that's what I had learned heavily. Like, I didn't, you know, that was my first time being a part of a losing team, you know what I'm saying? And I hated it, to be for real. You know what I'm saying? But then at the end, they going to double back on us and not even train us for the pro day, right? We training ourselves for the pro day, doing our own cone drills. You was doing it, like, you know what I'm saying? Leading cone drills and stuff like that for us, right? And I think they only trained like two people or something like that out of all the seniors. And that was crazy. But, at the end of the day, we did it on our own. And, I feel like I had a good one, but I got to probably work out with the New York Jets with Giants, my bad, New York Giants with Didi and Malcolm Bea, right? So that was cool. The NFL coaches coming. That was a cool experience. And then I want to say too, as far as like that process is just like high school. The NFL coaches are going to start coming to your practice, and you're going to start seeing them. You're probably gonna have little conversations, but not too much of a conversation with them. You get what I'm saying? And so it's gonna feel like high school, but NFL teams instead of Division I teams.
No, for sure. You guys, you wasn't up there yet, but because I transferred up in the spring, I was able to see that 10-3 record, their pro day. I was actually able to see it. And it was the most scouts that's ever been at the school. I think it was 22, 23 or something like that. Then our junior year, once we did play after that, those seniors, they had like I think they had like 20. Our
Mhm.
senior year, I think we had 8 scouts come out. So you can from us winning, that's how you can tell like how many schools was teams were coming out from the NFL. So it's also important, not only the body of work that you do, but of course, if you a talent and you're good, they're gonna come out regardless. But that's why you want to make sure that you're going to school where you have somebody at the same time who's also driving people in to come watch you guys perform in person. That's what that pro day was. So after MTSU, you end up playing overseas. And I remember we was talking about it prior to me going into arena. How does that process work of going overseas and playing? And then what was that experience like?
All right. So at first, the process was there was a time I don't really know for sure right now, still, because obviously like a decade later, right? There was like this website called Euro Players, and then you just get your highlight and you put your highlight up there, and then there's colleges overseas that will don't have nothing to do with the NCAA. They offer you to come play, might get you a master's degree. And you got overseas players, I mean teams from all over the world that contact you from just your highlights, and they try to talk to your coaches and see what type of player you are, and you give them your information. And that's how I started getting on there. But then what ultimately happened for me is Drew Banks, one of our receivers, he was up there playing with his brother, and he gave me a phone call and he asked me, did I want to come up there and play, help them with the playoffs? I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. So I just got my passport, got my visa, and I went down there. That actually happened to be like one of the best things that I feel like I ever did in my life. Best experience I had. I learned a new language. I know how to speak Portuguese. You know what I'm saying? I got to. Uh, it felt like all of the it felt like a sport again. It felt like having fun again. You know what I'm saying? Like, the business of Middle Tennessee, it felt like a straight business. And then especially when you're on the losing end of a business, that never feels good, right? But you still get that experience and and you're thankful for it. So I'm still thankful for it. But then when I went overseas, I was winning again, like normal. And then, I got to get the whole experience of being in a different country, seeing different people, you know what I'm saying? The same exposure, being on TV, having fun, you know what I'm saying? A nice sized crowd, maybe not as big as Division I, but still a nice sized crowd. Uh, you know what I mean? I ended up going there for the second year. I went there even in the off season. Me and Drew, we had a lot of fun, and I also got picked up to play for Team USA, and we did. I picked up to play for Team USA. They got I think they got like 40 people, and then like 30 some of us made the cut, and it was real cool. We had like players from Division I, players from the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Some players they got They got agents from there. I had an agent from there. Almost, I got my agent was talking to uh, the the Browns, so they were talking to the Browns for me. Ended up not working again, but it was really cool. We won the championship. Got to go to the NFL Hall of Fame Stadium. I got to see the White House. Man, it was a blessing, man. It was cool.
That's what's up. And what countries did you end up playing or going to?
I ended up playing in Brazil. Yeah, I ended up playing in Brazil, and then when I played for the Team USA, I went back home, flew back home, and we played all those games at the NFL Hall of Fame Stadium. And so I got a lot of exposure from that games, from them games, to play pretty much all over the world. And I was getting a lot of contacts to play everywhere, and that's when I got like the most, like playing for Team USA. I got to like I felt like JUCO again. I had like colleges from every single place. I mean, not colleges, but teams from all over the world asking me to play arena ball. Everywhere was asking me to play. I just never wanted to play arena ball because I thought it was different than football.
Yeah, it is. It is. I have a question for you, because I always think outside of the box. Would you think for some, because I say this, and not in a bad way, I don't believe college for everybody. I feel like for some dudes, college will actually hurt them as far as they'll get in trouble and stuff like that. Um, Nor do I like the business of college football. Like, I'm excited that they can get paid, but when we played, it was
I didn't hear you. It kind of
say it again.
yeah, you kind of broke up a little bit. I didn't hear you what you said.
I was saying I don't think college is for everybody. As far as I think it will actually hurt a kid by going up to a school and might get in trouble, whatever it is. And also like the business of college football. When we played, we couldn't get paid. They now have the NIL. Would you think it would be beneficial for some kids rather than go to college? And I don't even know the rules overseas. Rather than go to college, just go overseas to play football. If they are ready to, or if they go to JUCO and then instead of going to college, they just go overseas to play.
You asked me my opinion on that.
Yeah.
All right, depending on what that person wants to do, like different people, they got different things that they want to do. Like you got different players. Like we had different players, that did not want to go to the league. They just want to get the D1 experience and have fun. So if you're that type of person, then of course play junior college and go overseas and get that experience because that overseas experience is life experience that is paid for. You're getting paid to travel the world. You know what I mean? Well, most people are paying to do that. So for sure, you could learn less. You could learn languages. You could go to school overseas. You could do a lot, right? So, but if you're a person that wants to go to the NFL, I'm be, what I'm saying, keep it real with you. You need to try to go to D1 and play your heart out and get that play against the best of the best, right? So you can get a chance to go to the NFL. But if that's not your dream, and you want to have a good life, a fun life, without all the politics, then I would go ahead and say, yeah, get that high school film, But the better, I'll be real with you, like the higher college that you play, the higher level of college that you play, the more it's gonna look better for you to get to those overseas teams. Because I believe them overseas teams are starting to look for better players. So if you're coming from a D1 and you got a D1 film, they're gonna treat you a little bit better.
And I think it's interesting because we've always been taught that there's only one way to really get to the NFL. Of course, going D1, D2, scholarships, whatnot. I found it crazy, and I experienced this twice in arena football. One, and I scrapped, he went on about it. So his quarterback in high school, it was Scrap, um, Hill, who played for Georgia Tech, the tall receiver.
Yeah.
He got drafted by the Jets, and it was the quarterback. The quarterback had no grades at all, and he didn't go to college at all. He actually, at one point in time, then tried out for arena team. made it on an arena team and got a workout in the NFL. So there's different ways, and this day and age, all you need is film and everything. And then my boy, I had him on as well. My boy, Shane, he got in the NFL workout because he was playing semi-pro. And now he had connections though. He's from Louisiana. Whatchamacallit, told him to go down there and just play some film. He said all they want the NFL, and of course he went to college, but he really didn't play too much in college though. He went to a D2 school. And he said all the NFL cares for is for you to have film. And it's like, we don't care who is against. We just want to see what you can do. Because he had film, and he had like 16 interceptions in one season, like something dumb. Like he was just going crazy and returning kicks and stuff like that. This led into him. He had a relationship with Patrick P and Tyrann Mathieu. This got to work out with the Cardinals. So this is why I asked this question, like, do you think, because I think the business of football has always been this pipeline of you need to go this way in order to get here. And I see with my own eyes and I'm witnessing, I think like 2 years ago, there was a guy who's playing overseas and he got picked up. And I don't even know what college he went to, but he got picked up. And now they have these initiatives where now you can be from a different country and they picking up one guy from the initiative. But I'm just seeing different ways and different avenues. And of course, we say the XFL, the USFL, they're coming together, which I love because now it's you break up the pipeline. Once again, it's not only one way for you to get to the NFL if that's your desire. And I just wanted some insight because you know about it overseas more than me, that opportunity that it has. And fellas, there's multiple opportunities. You just got to open your mind to these different. They have leagues in Mexico. They starting up. Of course, we know about the CFL. They have these other leagues that's going on across the world. So you guys just do your research and understand. Of course, we all want to go D1. Of course, we always want to play on a big stage. For some, though, it's not going to be the case. And for some, even if you do want to go D1, you got to go to the best D1 that fits you and not necessarily because they're the big name.
Yeah. So, what I have to say about that, obviously, uh, everything is growing all the time. There's different ways and different avenues. But if you want to take one of them paths, different paths, make sure you're doing your research. You get what I'm saying? And then I'll say it again, like I just seen on TV the other day, somebody, the oldest person in NCAA right now, is 34 years old, plays on, uh, what did he play on? He plays on, damn, he plays on Virginia, right? And he was in the military for 10 years or whatever. And so his clock never started anyway. So, you know what I mean? If your clock never starts, you always got a chance, but you got to make sure you're staying in shape and staying ready. If you're going to do a different type of way, you don't got to go D1, you can go D2. There's D2s that got probably at the time, there was a D2 that was recruiting me called, I forget the name, something Christian, Abilene Christian. They had more players going into the league than we did. You know what I'm saying? And they had actual players going to the pro day. You get not pro day, but to the combine. You get what I'm saying? So there's definitely different avenues. You know what I'm saying? But I would just say, if you're gonna take one of them different avenues, make sure you're doing your homework for real.
Yeah, yeah. So we missed out on the NIL. What do you think about college athletes being able to be compensated for their
Oh
name?
yeah, I think that is great. You know what I'm saying? Like obviously, like when we were playing, we were in the game NCAA. We didn't get paid for that. We would sign autographs for what hours, and people would be coming all the time. We'll be signing them. We're thankful to be there, but we wouldn't be getting paid for it. We would know, the coach is getting paid millions of dollars to be a coach. We're doing the same work and smashing our bodies, right? But we're not getting no millions whatsoever. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes we didn't have no food. let's just keep it real. So right now, uh, you know, I'm happy for them. You get what I'm saying? Obviously, we wish we could have had it when we did it. You know what I'm saying? And if you say you didn't want to have it when you did it, you lying. You get what I'm saying? And nothing that's crazy. Like they got the NIL deals, and you got to think about, let's say like Reggie Bush, he got a house, but now, he had to lose his Heisman, and all he was supposed to do is play ball. How you gonna take his Heisman because he got a house for his family? You get what I'm saying? But everybody else making money. So you know, I think they got to fix that. I hope that they do fix that. And, I'm happy for the kids. You know what I'm saying? There got to be progression at all times.
No, for sure, for sure. Man, this is my last question. Appreciate you joining us, man. What is some wisdom or some nuggets you can leave for the next generation, the next guy, some game that you can share from what you've gone through in life or what you experienced and what you can help share for the next?
All right. So you broke up just a little bit, but I think you said, what's some experiences and some game I could give to a young guy that's coming up. So
Yeah,
trust me.
yeah.
All right. Like I said, when I was young, I would say study the game. Uh, That's something that's huge, that could help you, play, you know what I'm saying? Like study coaches, before you pick to go to a school, see who the coaches are, see where they coached before. These are things you could look up nowadays. You get what I'm saying? See how their coaching style is, see if you fit in that program, you know, uh, do your homework as much as you can, and understand that when you go to college, it's going to be it's not going to be a everybody gets to play type of deal. You get what I'm saying? There's players that have Division 1 scholarships, full rides, and don't even get to be on a team that gets to travel. They stay home with the freshmen, and people get depressed and down in those situations, right? So I would say do your homework. uh, Make sure you're doing your best to stay healthy because you only got one body. you know uh what I'm saying, try to keep your mind right, and like I said, like Ike said too, make sure you do a lot of homework on different avenues. But I wish y'all the best, and another thing I'll say is if you do end up going to JUCO, like I said earlier in the interview, you might want a gray shirt first. Even if you want to play right away, just go ahead and gray shirt and get a taste of what college is like. Get to know and understand the schemes that you're going to be in, and so you get more mature and more ready for your career.
There you have it, you guys. TL Edwards, I appreciate you, my guy, man. Best of luck to you on everything you got going on. And let me know, man, when you back out this way, man, so we can connect, bro.
All right, bro.
All right, man.